In the second installment of our amazing world bike tour from Cambodia, we'll leave the remote jungle behind. Instead, we now cycle along the much more populated coast in a southeasterly direction. Here, the country looks very different and is still full of surprises.
After a week in the wilderness and some deprivation, we yearn to dig deeper into Cambodian life and, of course, food. On our route towards southern Vietnam lay Kampot and Kep, famous for Kampot pepper and crabs.
This is the place where you can get the freshest crabs in Cambodia.
Trying to beat the worst heat, we leave our simple guest house in the rural town of Sreambel at 7 in the morning. I was buying some bread. That lady was just passing by on her motorcycle.
In all honesty, we sort of stopped cooking back in Turkey, unless we really have to, that is. Now that we are cycling through Southeast Asia, we barely use our stove at all. It is much more convenient and interesting to eat what we find on the streets all day, and we have great hopes for the coming days.
We are also very happy to cycle on smooth asphalt roads for a change. Due to the constant sweating, I started to struggle with saddle sores back in Thailand. Now, with bumpy roads, constantly rising temperatures and humidity, the closer we get to the equator, let's just say it's becoming a real pain in the ass.
Cambodia People's Party's office.
You see, on paper, Cambodia is a unitary parliamentary constitutional elective monarchy. However, these omnipresent blue billboards feature the Cambodian People's Party's leaders. The CCP wins every election by a ridiculous margin. For nearly 4 decades, the party was dominated by one prime minister. In 2023, he handed the job over to his son. So in reality, the country is a family business, one of the few hereditary dictatorships in the world.
A little later, we joined the highway from Phnom Penh leading to Sihanoukville, a boom and bust casino city and biggest beach resort of Cambodia. The road surface is beautifully smooth most of the time, but there is also heavy traffic with massive lorries and no proper shoulder. However, this is the only road there is, so we decide to push through as fast as possible.
When we run out of steam, we juice up. This stuff is ridiculously sweet and likely hell for our teeth. However, freshly pressed sugarcane juice on ice is delicious and gets our tired legs spinning like there's no tomorrow. Induced by our sugar high, we also have a brilliant idea. Why not skip super touristy Sihanoukville altogether, save 2 days cycling back and forth on this annoying road, and instead head to Kampot right away?
It is only 1 p.m. and Kampot is just another 55 kilometers away. We can already see ourselves relaxing in a hammock in the shade of some palm trees by the river. Just another 55 kilometers? Well...
This road is so bad. Holy moly.
Immediately after turning off of National Highway 4, the road becomes a dusty and bumpy mess. That is much harder to ride on and also quite painful, especially with saddle sores.
Now this is what you could call adverse riding conditions. We have a fierce headwind and a terribly bumpy, dusty road.
Believe it or not, this is Cambodia's National Highway 3. Of the thousands and thousands of kilometers of highways we've cycled since Germany, this has to be one of the worst. This is not somewhere remote like in the Cardamoms or the Pamirs at an altitude of 4,000 meters. The sorry state of this road feels almost deliberate, to be honest.
And there's another 50 kilometers like this to go.
This is a road of major importance, and yet it is in such abysmal condition that traffic grinds to a crawl. It is hard to imagine that this is alleged lack of funds and not the result of deeply corrupt institutions and a complete lack of oversight. By now, we've been to some parts of the world that are far from a democracy. In our experience, the further they are, the more widespread, significant and blatant corruption becomes.
We've just checked, and unsurprisingly, Cambodia consistently ranks among the most corrupt nations globally. A score of 21 out of 100 in Transparency International's 2024 Corruption Perceptions Index places it 158th out of 180 countries.
My God, this was terrible. Woohoo!
Unbelievable.
Eventually we make it to the Kampot province border and suddenly the road is in a fantastic condition. Despite a fierce headwind, we decide to push all the way to Kampot, covering a total of 110 kilometers.
Yeah, that was a tough day. Luckily, the road got better eventually, and the headwind turned away as well. Now we're looking for a guest house. Maybe we find one here. Hello. Oh.
In the mid-19th century, Kampot was Cambodia's sole international seaport. The waterfront back then hummed with activity, initially fueled by influential Chinese traders. Most buildings are very slim and deep. These classic shophouses were built all over former French Indochina in that way to minimize taxes, which used to be calculated by the street-facing width during colonial rule.
Under the French, Kampot transformed into a serene colonial resort, famed for its elegant architecture and, crucially, for its world-class pepper. Today, the central area around the market is buzzing with life and there is so much to explore. The narrow shophouses opening onto the pavement also function as the owner's residence.
Like in most developing economies, huge supermarkets are not really a thing. The local offerings are rich in tropical fruits, some of which we haven't even seen before. This lady here sells large blocks of ice. Power outages are common and there's a lot of demand for cooling on the market. Cambodia is one of the 44 least developed countries. LDCs are facing the triple threat of low income, weak health and education systems, and a high vulnerability to economic and environmental shocks. That shows, but Cambodia is expected to graduate from that list in 2029.
Like the ice lady, most people work in single-person or small family businesses. The people selling fresh produce directly on the street are from the countryside. They work hard and are good at what they do, like growing and chopping bamboo, catching fish, preserving it, and so on, none of which we and likely most of you could do.
But it's also obvious that Cambodia suffers from a significant skills shortage. Everything not fairly basic seems to be imported from abroad. While this is a complicated and multifaceted issue, murdering anyone who could read or rather wore glasses 50 years back does not help. And the kleptocratic government, of course.
This man sells freshly peeled sugarcane. People chew the fibers to extract the sweet juice. It is very cheap, refreshing, and considered a natural candy. It is very popular with kids and workers alike. Judging by his lack of teeth, he had plenty. Soon enough, the always hungry Mathias spots something.
You see, we burn a ridiculous amount of energy. Probably something like 4,000 to 5,000 calories on most days for me and somewhat less for Arev. However, last week wasn't average. Even though we are not cycling now, the hunger is still there. I go for a spontaneous second breakfast, a steaming noodle soup. Basically a big bowl full of electrolytes with some added carbs and protein. Actually, the perfect food in this tropical climate.
Cambodia can be a lot to take in at any moment. It is rough, and not only around the edges, which is not for everyone. But it is also a matter of perspective. After a week deep in the jungle, this city feels almost exuberant. we decide to stay in Kampot for a week or two and edit another episode of our amazing world bike tour. On average, it takes us 10 to 14 working days to finish up a new episode.
To do that, we regularly spend extended periods stationary along our route. We try to find places we enjoy, but also offer cheap guest houses. Since we are on our way for such a long time now, it is nice to have a break from being constantly on the move, to get to know a place, to have little routines.
In the historic city center of Kampot, around old buildings from the colonial times, there are actually a bunch of tourist restaurants. However, we kept coming back to this local street restaurant instead. It only feels authentic, with rats and cockroaches scavenging the floor.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, you? Good. I would be a little bit afraid to put my hand with the axe. So, let's have some soup. This is our favorite street noodle shop in Kampot. We've been here many nights. They're famous for rice soup. Also, one soup with pork and one soup with chicken.
Wow! For you? Yes. Mathias, this is your soup.
The great thing with these hawker stores is not only that they are specialized in basically two different types of soups. So there's the chicken-based soup, so it's a very, very strong chicken broth, and also they have obviously the pork soup, which is a very porky broth. Now I ordered one soup with noodles. Chicken soup is with noodles, and the pork soup is actually a rice soup with pork, pickled garlic. We have vinegary chili sauce, which is quite strong. We have chili powder that's just very hot. Well, we have sugar, they always like sugar. Then we have some pickled chilies, they're also hot, surprise. Then what is this? Fermented bean, basically, shredded and fermented. Then we have the obvious sauces like fish sauce, soya sauce, hoisin sauce, and another chili sauce, why not? And what is this? Whoa, okay, this is, I assume it's fermented crab or something. It's really strong. Oh, it's pungent smell, I can tell you. And then also, because the soup is really hot and you're gonna sweat a lot, what they always have is cups on the table, and then also iced tea. Awesome. So I have my chopsticks, which will not help me with the rice soup, I just figured. So I probably go with a spoon. I usually add some chili sauce and some lime. And just for good measure, I will add a little bit more chili sauce. And maybe some soy sauce for some extra saltiness. We're sweating a lot here, so this is really, really necessary. Also, I really like the garlic. Now look at this beautiful, beautiful soup. It has everything you can imagine. There's even some fried garlic on top, spring onions, a lot of different pieces of pork, some blood cake, obviously too, fatty bits, cartilage. So let's dig in. Really good.
After getting filled up properly, we head deeper into town. It is a Saturday evening and something huge is going on behind the main roundabout. it is actually so bizarre that it takes us a little while to understand what's happening.
This is the most brutal game show I've witnessed in my life. This is madness. They're standing here for 3 hours and 40 minutes already. They seem like they're suffering really bad, but they want one of the scooters.
You see, in Cambodia, owning a scooter can transform a whole family's life. For such a prize, participants compete in an extraordinary test of endurance. Welcome to the Boo Strong Strongest Couple Challenge, a massive televised event where contestants must hold a family member in the bridle carry position. Apparently, the world record is actually held by a couple from Kampot province, with a back-breaking 8 hours, 18 minutes and 48 seconds.
We couldn't stay there to see who's gonna win this contest. It could take several more hours. There was at least 20 families still standing to win that scooter. And yeah, it's one of the most brutal things I've seen, and I think it only really works because people here are so poor that they would do this.
To get over his shock, Mathias needs another noodle soup to calm down. Eventually, after slurping ridiculous amounts of noodle soup, it is time to head on. Next, we cycle to Kep, a small coastal town closer to the border with Vietnam. For our breakfast, we visit the local market one last time. It is always very busy, which is why they are super efficient in parking motorcycles, like loads of them.
Good morning from Kampot.
We're having a quick breakfast before we leave Kampot after 2 weeks exactly.
So obviously we have the famous fried banana breakfast. We are loving this on cycling days. Tasty, but hot.
After the break, my saddle sores are gone, at least for now. We are glad to be back on our bicycles, even though it's just for a day.
I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the traffic rule... Oh wow. The traffic rule in the country seems to be that there is no rule.
Another rule seems to be that the roads we take have to be in very bad condition and/or under construction. We decide to leave the dusty and loud main road for a little detour through the countryside.
Oh, it's so hot. This is intense. Oh.
After 2 weeks of city life, we again enjoy the peace and quietness of the rural farm roads. Somewhere around here the famous Kampot pepper has grown, probably a bit closer to the mountains. Hello. Ah. No. Hello. How are you? Jamripsua.
We are on the way to Kep, a small tourist town that has seen better times.
Oh crap.
It is, however, famous for its blue crabs, at least on a national level. So we are heading to the crab market to find out what it's about. We quickly check out the beach to see if it's suitable for camping. However, it is very windy and not very inviting. Also, Mathias is hungry. What a surprise!
It is late afternoon when we reach the crab market. While it seems that many sellers already finished their day, there's still plenty of seafood available, like this fresh squid and shrimp, or these massive grilled and ready-to-eat squids. But we came for the crab, so we hurry to figure out how this works.
No, crab ate the land. Or you could prefer to the land. And the land old.
This woman is only selling the crab, but she has a friend who will cook them for us right away.
1 kilo.
Okay. Very good. Professionals, you know how many.
It all goes quickly here. The standard rate seems to be $8 for 1 kilogram crab and another $2 for the preparation. The ladies get to it quickly and routinely. First, they cut and rip the crabs apart, killing them in the process. That might not be the most crab-friendly way to do it, but what do we know? At least they are fast.
Anyways, if you want to prepare crabs the Kep way, here's what you do. First, load the stove with the right amount of dry wood and fire it up. Or put your wok on your electric stove, I guess. When it's really hot, put a good amount of vegetable oil in and wait until it sizzles. Add plenty of chopped garlic and ginger and fry it a little. Throw in a massive amount of fresh Kampot pepper. Fry, mix, add the crabs, mix and continue frying over high heat. After properly frying everything for about 2 to 3 minutes, add some water and put the lid on. Time for steaming. This will take at least 8 minutes for fresh crabs, longer if they are bigger.
With the market being specialized in seafood, you find tons of crabs and shrimps, fresh, fermented, or as a paste. Kampot pepper, garlic, and so on. The smell here is, well, let's say pungent.
When the crabs are cooked through, you may add some oyster and or fish sauce, or just some light soy sauce. Add palm oil to balance the heat and some palm sugar for extra sweetness. Give everything a proper stir to finish the sauce. Throw in fresh cilantro or spring onion if you can't stand cilantro. One last stir and voila! A creamy, peppery and garlicky delight. The famous Kampot pepper crab.
In the meantime, the sun is about to set. We grab our chairs and some Cambodian beer and get to the difficult part.
It is a first for both of us to eat crabs that are still in their shells. We just have our hands and well, we spare you the visuals. Let's just say it took us over 1 hour to eat them. While the taste is finger-licking good, we learn another thing in the process. 1 kilogram of crabs do not have a lot of meat.
Holy crap!
This is the biggest crab I've ever seen for sure.
As we have another week on our Cambodian visa, we stay in Kep a little longer editing videos. During that time, we return to the crab market at the best time of the day, very early in the morning, just when the fishermen bring in the catch.
This is the place where you can get the freshest crabs in Cambodia. Incredible! I'm afraid. Like protecting the water.
Yeah, but
Breakfast for today. This is a coconut grilled in a banana leaf. The portion is definitely very small, but it's yummy.
As we leave Kep behind and cycle towards the southernmost Vietnamese border, we pass another interesting place, the Salines of Kep. Here they still make salt like ages ago.
the process relies on a simple principle: evaporation. Seawater, initially around 3% salinity, is channeled through a series of shallow interconnected ponds. The sun and wind slowly evaporate the water content. As the water volume reduces, the salt concentration steadily increases. Workers drag a rake through the brine to distribute the salt crystals evenly, controlling impurities and smooth the ground for harvesting. This produces clean sea salt that is easy to collect.
Well, easy is relative. Under the tropical sun, it is certainly very sweaty work to fill this barn with salt.
I did definitely not expect this. What the hell?
In Cambodia, we have been cycling on some of the worst roads of our whole journey yet. Out of nowhere, there is suddenly this beautiful and brand new dedicated cycling lane? This is ridiculous. Barely anyone uses this road. Not one single car passed us here. Most of the country doesn't have any roads to speak of. And then this?
They probably got foreign aid to build this road and it had to include a cycling lane to get the funding. Still, what an incredible waste. The best road of the country, but completely pointless. One owner of a guest house told us off camera about the corrupt governor. He also told us that mentioning it in public would be suicidal for him.
So yes, it is a troubled country. If it's infuriating for us, imagine how frustrating this must be for ordinary Cambodians. On the other hand, seeing this firsthand reminds us to be grateful for the privileges we have. To see the hard work people have to put in to survive, all with a smile on their face, is humbling.
So this basically concludes our time in Cambodia. We are 15 kilometers from the border with Vietnam and we'll reach it today. As it's 8 in the morning and I'm a little bit sweaty, as you can see.
Yeah, even though we haven't cycled that much in Cambodia or Kampuchea, we really loved it. I don't know, sometimes you have this very warm and positive feeling about one place. The people are amazing.
Hello, Chom Rip Sua. Hello.
Oh wow. No. They're working on the color of the road.
Enjoy the last moments of Cambodia.
It was so much nicer without the traffic.
Well, traffic might actually be worse in country number 18 of our journey. Join us again next time when we start cycling up Vietnam from the very south with a visitor from home.
Thank you so much for watching, and remember,
Creating this content is only possible thanks to the support of our amazing contributors. Through buymeacoffee.com/aworldbiketour and paypal.me/amazingworldbiketour, you can chip in as well, helping us immensely in getting another episode out.
if you want to see more of our amazing world bike tour, be so kind to drop a like, subscribe to our channel and activate all notifications. In the meantime, you can watch about 50 episodes from our first pedal strokes back in Germany all the way to Southeast Asia.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
And may the wind be at your back.